Namaste. Howdy, everybody. We're here again, still here. So let's recognize that even though we can't see each other physically, we are still in the same space together. The space of the heart, the sky of the heart, where we always are together. All we need to do is remember to look. One of the words for chanting is bhajan, which means to remember, one of the meanings of the word. So we're trying to remember to remember. And the name cultivates that memory within us. Pranavam pavanakuma kalabana pavaka gyanagam jasu hridayaga vasinram sarachabadha atulita baladham himshala badeham tanujavana krishan Jnani nama graganyam Sakala guna nidhanam Vanaranam desham Raghupati priya bhaktam Vatajatam namam Goshpadi krutavarisham Mashaki krutarakshasam Ramayanam Amalaratnam Ande Nilatmajam Anjananandaram Viram Janaki Shokanashanam Kupisamakshahantaram Ande Lanka Bhankaram Ilanga Sindho Salilam Salilam Yashokavahi Janakatma Jaya Adatane Vidahalanka Namamitam Pranjali Ranjaneyam Manojavam Maruttatulya vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Radishtam Vatatmajam Vanardayutamukyam Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhe Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhe Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prapadhe Shri Ramadutam Sharanam prapadhe Anjaneyamati-patalanana Kanchanadakamane-avigraham Parijat-taramula-vasanam Avayami Pavamananandanam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha-kirtanam Tatra Tatra Katamastakanjali Vashpavare Paripurna Lochanam Martinamat Rakshasantakam Parabhajaranga Bali Hanuman Ki Jai. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Ram, Ye Ram, Ye Ram, Ye Ram, Ye Ram, Ye Ram. Ye Ram, Ye Ram, Ye Ram, Ye Ram, Ye Ram, Ye Ram. Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Sitaram, Jai Jai Sitaram, 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 Jai Jai Sitaram, Sitaram. Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Jai Sitaram, 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 Jai Jai Sitaram. Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Jai Sitaram, 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 Jai Jai Sitaram, Sitaram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare, Oh, that quote is from Ananda Mayama. I don't think I have it here. Anyway, so this is the repetition of the name. Maharaji said that from going on repeating these names, everything is accomplished. Everything is accomplished. So, that's a very big statement. And I've been trying to wrap my head around it for 50 years. Oh, sorry. So many of the great saints that I met in India, and even up to this day, all talk about the practice of the repetition of the name. And how effective it is, and how it's the real practice for this age. It's the easiest way to overcome the tendencies we have in our minds and hearts, and the programs that run behind the scenes all the time, telling us that we're not enough, we're no good, we'll never get what we want, we'll never be happy. So you'll notice how difficult it is to actually pay attention when you're singing. You might feel good, you might feel bad, but whatever it is you feel, you should keep the awareness on the presence of the name, on the sound of the name. Because that's what will take us deeper into ourselves. We don't want to go sideways. We don't want to, it's not all about what you're experiencing when you do this practice. All the saints say, all the yogis say that when you're sitting down, that's not the only time that the practice is important. It resonates through the day. And when you're not looking, something arises from within, some understanding, some new way of seeing something will come from inside. And in these particular times now, when we're all faced with our mind and our stuff right in front of us and our emotions all day long, it's big time stuff. So this is the most important thing. Practice during this period will bring great fruits to our life, because we are so reactive most of the day, reading the papers, talking to people who are suffering, and our own unhappiness, our own suffering. So this is the time to plant those seeds. Sitaram 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 Jai Sitaram 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 Jai Sitaram. By the way, the correct pronunciation is Sitaram. So it's 3 long vowel sounds, not Sitaram. Sitaram. Keep that in mind. Sitaram, 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 dear Sitaram. 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 Some announcements. This Saturday is Guru Purnima, full moon, at which time the Guru is especially worshipped and honored. And there's an online kirtan on Saturday, and it's sponsored by the Hanuman Temple, Neem Karoli Baba Temple in Taos, New Mexico. And the Facebook page is on my website, so you go there, you get that link. And the next day, on July 5th, is another all-day kirtan, many different kirtanwalas and walis. And the Facebook page is also on my website, the link. And yes, that's it. And please don't forget me and my team. We need your support to go on and keep everything up and running. If you can and able to donate, please do. Otherwise, not to worry. All right, let's take some questions. Here's a long question. Though the mind can play its its own games and have its own irrelevant theories, what does your heart tell you about what Maharaji said about appearing in the body in America? I don't know if you're aware of this, but in the old days, Maharaji said, I'll come with you to America. So we said to him, yes, we'll bring you in our hearts. And he said, Nay, sharir mein. He said, in the body. Well, I'm still waiting. That doesn't mean he hasn't been here. It just means I didn't see him. So, there's no way of capturing him. No way at all. But if you see him, please let me know. Tell him I'm thinking about him and maybe he wants to give me a call or a text. Thanks for the amazing start, whatever that means. I have been having wild dreams lately. I wonder if you have seen Maharaji in dreams lately and what has been his message to you. Well, I had a couple of dreams of Ramdas this week. They were very sweet. I don't remember dreams that much these days. I don't remember the last time I dreamt about Maharaji. It wasn't that long ago. Sometimes we're just hanging out. Sometimes we're going somewhere. It's very rarely, as far as I remember, any kind of teaching or any kind of anything like that. Sometimes darshan. That's all I want to do is see him anyway, be with him. Also, the use of hallucinogenic substances to instill trance-like states in order to experience visions, etc. Is it merely adding up to another layer of illusion? Well, we all like excitement. We all like experiences. On one hand, if it wasn't for peyote, which is a psychedelic cactus from the Southwest, I don't know if I'd be here, because that's what blasted my heart open. I took it after my junior year in high school. And I remember very clearly that I had no doubt that what I was experiencing and what I was seeing was more real than the world I had been living in, the world as I had seen it before this experience. But of course it didn't last, but still it definitely woke me up to some degree. Now, Maharaji had said that LSD, the yogi medicine, he called it, can bring you into the room with Christ, but you can't stay. So after you get thrown out of that room a few million times, don't you want to stay? But drugs, hallucinogenics won't allow you to stay, partially because there's still a you having the experience, regardless of how subtle it is and what you're seeing or experiencing. At least that's my feeling about it. And as long as there's a you or a me, we're going to get kicked out of the room. But when there's only Christ, only love, what room is there to get kicked out of? But, and you know, when Ram Dass gave Maharaji the acid the second time, I was there. I'll tell you the story. So, the first time when Ram Dass went to India, in 1967, he met Maharaji. And he had this incredible transformational experience the first day. And his heart opened, and it was incredible. It changed his life. The next day, when he came to see Maharaji, Maharaji said, "You have medicine? Give me." So Ram Dass thought Maharaji had a headache, so he took out some aspirin, and Maharaji said, "Nay, the yogi medicine." So Ram Dass thought, well, he must be talking about acid. So he had 3 or 4 pills of humongously powerful and pure Owsley acid. He holds them out to Maharaji on his hand. And Maharaji takes them, throws them in his mouth, and they sat around all day, and nothing happened. There was no change in Maharaji all day long. This was a very big thing for Ram Dass, because he knew that acid had changed his life, but he didn't know what it was. What is it really doing? What is it? So he brought some to India with him to give to people to try to find out what this is. Who knows? But nobody he met, some people liked it, some people didn't, but nobody seemed to know. And then when he got to Maharaji, nothing happened. I mean, he took enough acid to put a horse on the moon, and nothing happened. So when Ram Dass came back to America and was telling these stories, some people came to him and said, he scammed you. He threw it over his shoulder. Nobody could take that much acid. So Ram Dass didn't think so, but he did have a little bit of doubt. So the next time we were in India, a whole bunch of things happened, and we found ourselves with Maharaji in Vrindavan at his temple. And we were sitting there, and Maharaji looks at Ram Dass and he said, "When you were in India last time, did you give me medicine?" Ram Dass said, "Yes." He said, "Did I take it?" Ram Dass said, "I think so." "Oh, got any more?" "Yes." "Give it to me." So I don't know if you can see this, but Ram Dass offered the acid to Maharaji, and Maharaji took each pill like this. Four times. And then he sat around for a while. He said, "Can I drink water?" So he drank some water. Then after a few minutes, he takes his blanket and he puts it over his head like this. And then he opens it up and goes, "Ah!" like this. "Ah!" And Ram Dass turned purple. I have never seen a human being turn purple. He turned purple because he said to himself, "Oh my God, he really didn't take it last time, but he knew I had doubt, so now he wanted to prove to me he could take it. I've killed my guru." So as soon as he thought that, Maharaji dropped the whole show and just laughed and said, "Yogis have known about this for thousands of years. It used to grow up in the Kulu Valley, which is a valley in the Western Himalayas." And he said a few other things. He said, "For a yogi who knows God, No poison can affect him. He said it's good for beginners. So it kind of depends how you see yourself and what you're able to do and how you see yourself, what you want out of life. What happened here? Okay. The lady next to Neem Karoli Baba, that lady, this is Siddhima. Siddhima is Maharaji's great devotee, and she had been with him for 40, 45, 50 years, maybe 40 years or more. Since Maharaji left the body in 73, which is what, almost 40 years ago, right? 73, more. Anyway, she's his closest disciple and devotee, and she and another man named Jivantima spent much time with Maharaji in those later years. And she took care of us Westerners so sweetly and with such grace and love and tolerance and patience over all these years that we've been going to India since Maharaji left the body in 73. And she left the body about 2 years ago. So, yeah, she was very wonderful. What is the best book to read about Maharaji? There's really a number of books, and they're all good. Miracle of Love that Ramdas put out, Ramdas wrote. And then there's 2 books by Dada Mukherjee called By His Grace and The Near and the Dear. And there's 2 other books, one by Larry Brilliant called Sometimes Brilliant. And in it he tells the story of how Maharaji sent him to work for the United Nations organization, health organization, and how they eradicated smallpox. And there's many beautiful stories about Maharaji in that book. And another one called Love Everyone, which Parvati Marcus, who Maharaji used to call private secretary, she took all our diaries and she pulled things out of our diaries and created like how it was hanging out for the day with Maharaji, what it felt like. All the things that we thought about and experienced while we were hanging out. It's a fantastic book, and that's called Love Everyone. Maybe somebody will text that on here, information for people. So, and there's a couple others, but that's a good way to start. Is there an English unabridged edition of Sri Ramcharitmanas? Yes, the Gita Press puts out a full bilingual edition. One of them is even like trilingual. One has the Hindi, the English, and the transliteration. And one has the Hindi and the English translation. So they're out there for sure. And I think Motilal Banarsidas also does that. How about me? Do I take LSD or anything else to help you connect with higher spirits? Yes, I do. Coffee, mochas every morning helps me connect with real life because I can't wake up without it. No, I don't do any more chemicals. I haven't done, when's the last time I did acid? Was when I asked Maharaji. I had some acid Ramdas had given me in India, and I said, Baba, can I take this? And he said, yes, when you're in a quiet place and a cool place and your mind is at peace, which is almost never. But I found a minute there where I fit those categories, and I took it and I fell asleep and I woke up 10 hours later. That was it. So I don't take any chemicals anymore. Any psychedelics or anything. I haven't for many years. How do I feel about getting old and dying one day? Will you go to Vaikuntha? That's a heaven world. You know, in the Hanuman Chalisa, there's a line. What is that line? Antakala Raghubara Purajai Jahan Janma Hari Bhakta Kahai. It says that at the end of time, when you die, you'll be reborn in Ram's world as a devotee of Ram. So Arjun, who plays tabla with me when we play together, once asked Siddhima, does that mean like when we die we're going to go to heaven like Ram's world? And she said, not exactly. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm going, but I hope there'll be TV. Okay. So many questions from Indian people. What are you doing here at this hour? Can I please explain if it's easy to let go of things, feelings, especially letting oneself let go of one's emotional attachments? No, it's not easy. It's very hard. The whole spiritual path is about letting go of attachment and your identification with your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions. It's not pushing away because it's painful. It's not pushing away. It's letting go, and there's a huge difference. Letting go takes practice. That's why we chant. That's why we meditate or do spiritual practice. Every time we notice we're gone in dreamland and thinking about something, we come back. Gone back, gone back, gone back. This is what trains us to release those negative feelings. And it's not easy, no. It's very difficult. But what else are you going to do? Allow all that stuff to eat you alive for the rest of your life? No, you have to do some practice or nothing's going to happen. So each one of us has to figure out what we want in life and what we want to do to get those things for ourselves and for others as well. One can't really have peace of mind if one's angry at everybody. One can't have peace of mind if one is trying to find all this stuff in the outside world. You're always off center. So the idea is find out who we are and move more deeply into our true being, into our hearts. And it is not easy. But it's not impossible. And every bit of practice you do on this path is very important. It's big. Every time you remember to let go and to come back to the practice, come back to the sound of the name or whatever, that's a tremendous thing. And Krishna says in the Gita that every effort we make on this path is huge. Because mostly we're just floating down the river towards the waterfalls and we're going to go over the falls and be destroyed. We don't even realize we're moving towards the falls. So, in fact, anytime you recognize that and you try to swim to the shore or swim against the stream of life as it's been going on, it's a very big thing. So, even though finding real love, finding what lives within us is not an instant thing, it's possible for everyone. And if you're even thinking about these things, you already have grace, you already have the karmas to bring this into your life. Otherwise, not many people in the world really have the option to be thinking about this, for many reasons. Some of them external, some of them internal. How does Maharaji show up in our lives if we are householders? Are you human? If you're human, he shows up. What do you mean, householders? You think he only shows up to renunciates, to swamis? Why would that be the case? He himself wasn't a swami. He didn't wear swami clothes. he wasn't a Swami. He's a Baba. Different. He wasn't a renunciate externally. Within, he had renounced everything and had become one with the universe. What you do has nothing to do with who you are. And he is with you all the time because he is the indwelling presence within us. We don't look, and we don't remember to look, and even if we remember to look, we don't know how to look. And even if we don't know how to look, we don't know where to look. But that doesn't mean he's not with us. That doesn't mean God is not with us every moment. Householder, now householder, dog or cat, makes no difference. Are you finding the situation of not being able to travel and sing with people difficult? Yeah, it's so difficult. Rolling out of bed whenever I feel like it. No, I don't find it difficult at all. I didn't find traveling difficult. I don't find staying home difficult. It's just life. There are difficulties in everything. So you just do the best you can. My body is enjoying the downtime, for sure. So, how do you find peace within yourself when others are not happy with you or challenging your boundaries? Peace within has nothing to do with what's going on outside, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant. Your true nature, our true nature is peace. When we are in touch with that, regardless of what's going on outside, it does not affect that peace. And in fact, that's what allows us to deal with situations in the outside world more skillfully and in a way that helps relieve suffering rather than just have knee-jerk reactions. Peace is our true nature, but we are identified with the waves of the ocean, not recognizing that even those waves are made only of water. They are made up only of ocean. But we're lost in those waves and the bubbles on the waves and the action and activity on the waves. So we have to dive deep, as they say, within us to find that peace. And when you do touch your true nature, nothing outside can affect that. You don't have to push away. You're simply not pushed around by that stuff. You don't need to protect yourself. So, but now what you say here involves other people. So there's one amazing thing called communication. So if you're in a relationship with people and it's not functioning properly, try communicating with them. Don't sit around, move around and mope and take everything in and blame everybody else. That's not going to help. But try to communicate and don't expect other people to respect your boundaries if you don't know how to set them with love. Boundaries are boundaries. They don't have to be hurtful to other people. People may not understand, but one can set those boundaries with kindness also. They don't have to be a threat to other people. But communication is very important. You have to talk to people, if possible. If not, you set your boundaries and you just do the best you can. But we all have trouble setting boundaries without anger and blame, because we were never taught how to do that. Nobody in my family knew about that. So how was I going to learn? It takes time and awareness. So Do I find a particular chant to be useful when feeling anxious because of the impact of COVID-19? No. All chants are useful. All practice is useful. If it's not COVID, it's the fact that you're going to die of something else. But you don't pay attention to that. COVID is just making you aware of that in a very nasty way. But yes, death is a part of life. We live every day as if it's never going to touch us. That we're never going to get sick. We're never going to die. We're just go on piling shit up, getting more stuff. This situation has faced everybody with impermanence, as they say, which is one of the signs of samsara, of the world, that things are impermanent and changing. And it's a very painful lesson for us, all of us, no question about it. Any mantra you do, any practice you do is good for, is a medicine for anxiety and fear and pain. But you can't just do it when you feel like it. You have to cultivate it over time so it works. It's not something you just do for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or even an hour or every day. It's something that you have to develop an attitude towards life that the practice strengthens. It's not just enough to do practice by itself. One has to take that practice off the mat, so to speak, into the day and treat other people well. And treat other people in a way that doesn't create more suffering. So it's a big thing. Do I believe animals can attain enlightenment or help us to attain enlightenment? I don't know. I don't even know if I can attain enlightenment. So, but if you read the tales of the Buddha, there's a thing called the Jataka tales, J-A-T-A-K-A, Jataka, where Buddha has recounted stories of all his previous incarnations as he was developing Buddhahood and becoming a bodhisattva. And many of those lifetimes were as animals. Very interesting. One of them, he was a monkey who saved his whole tribe of monkeys and sacrificed his own life to save his tribe. He made a bridge. There was some beautiful stories, the Jataka tales. So of course, animals are us too, you know. They're all part of the scheme of things. And if you believe in reincarnation, and if you think it might be true, and if you read about it, you'll see that animal incarnation is one of the places we've been. They say there are 84,000 different wombs to take birth in on the way to enlightenment. And that includes insects and all that stuff. So don't ask me. I don't know for sure. I'm just mouthing off what I've heard. So. Why does it take so long to touch your true nature? Why can't the self pull you once you have a sincere desire for it? Because you think you're you, that's why. And you're identified with your so-called ego. The self is always here, but we're not looking. And you talk like it's something else, or someone else. Why can't the self pull you once you have a sincere desire for it? What do you mean it and pull you? What are you talking about? It's your own true nature. It's who you really are already. We're trying to uncover that, that's all. And we are being pulled as fast as we're allowing ourselves to go. There's nothing, no one to blame and no one to complain to. We are being pulled into ourselves as as fast as we're able to let go of our egos, period. But you can't let go of something like that. How do you let go? It's like the monkey and the stick, you know. The monkey wants the stick, he reaches into or the fruit, he reaches into the cage. While he's holding on to the stick, he can't take his hand out, so he gets caught. If he let go of the stick, he wouldn't get caught. We don't want to let go. We want it all. We want the stick and everything, but we don't want to let go. So we get caught. Because we believe we're separate beings. We identify with our thoughts and our emotions. We allow those programs that are running all the time, telling us what we are and who we are and what we are and what we're worth or not worth. So that's why. That's why. And you can't just renounce that, because you just can't. Because, like Ramana Maharshi said, asking the mind to destroy the mind, so to speak, is like asking the thief to be the policeman. There'll be a lot of investigation, but no arrest will ever be made. So that's the deal. When you chant, what do you focus on? How do you feel when you do it? You know, I get this question a lot. And I have to keep pointing out that it is not about what you feel. When you're chanting, when we are chanting, we are trying to stay with the sound of the name. We are trying to stay aware of the sound of the name. But we get lost over here, we get lost over there, we start thinking about the future or the past. We can't stop our thoughts, and we can't, at this point, actually notice them as they arise. We don't notice them until they let go of us. Then we come back to the name. So, whatever I'm feeling when I'm singing, especially in terms of emotions and outside things, whether my knee hurts or my back hurts or my arms are tired or I'm hungry or I'm feeling good or this chant's really working, the drum machine is working good tonight, etc., etc. All that stuff, you just let go. You just let go. It isn't about you. It isn't about me. It's not about what we're feeling in the moment. We are planting the seeds that will dissolve this ego, this false, separate illusion that we are separate. So, it isn't about that. What I focus on is the sound of the name. And then things start to happen from the inside. Different awareness opens up, a space might open up. Something will happen from the inside, but you have to pay attention, otherwise you wouldn't have even noticed it. So. Okay. So, since it's Guru Purnima, this chant Om Namo Gurudev Neem Karoli Babaya Namaha. Maharaj's name is Neem Karoli Baba, or Neem Karoli Baba, but we say Neem Karoli Baba. So Babaya, like Shivaya, Namaha. Om Namo Gurudev Neem Karoli Babaya Namaha. Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Namo Gurudev. Neem Karoli Baba. Shri Guru Charana Saroj Raja Nijamana Makara Sudhar Varano Raghubara Bimala Jasu Odhaya Kupalachar Buddhihina Tanu Janike Sumiram Pavan Kumar Siyaram Balabudhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Haruhu Kales Bekar Syavara Rama Chanda Paraje Charanam Jai Jai Hanuman Jnana Guna Sagar Jai Kapi Sati Loka Ujagar Ramadurta Tulta Baladham Anjani Putra Pavan Sutanama Mahavir Vikram Bajrangi Kumati Nivara Sumati Kesan Panchano Varana Biraj Subesa Kanana Kundala Kunjita Kesa Bajra Dvaja Biraj Ande Muja Jane Usaje Shankara Suvana Kesari Nandan Teja Pratapa Mahajagabanda Vidyavan Guniyate Chatur Ramakaja Karibe Kohat Prabhu Charitra Sunive Korasiya Rama Lakshmana Sita Manavasi Shmarupa Darisiya Hindakam Vikata Rupa Daralanka Jara Himarupa Dari Asura Samhara Ramachandra Kekaj Samvar Maya Sajivana Lakana Jaya Shri Raghuvira Harshuralai Raghupati Kinhi Bohat Barai Mama Priya Bharai Samavai Asavadana Tumaro Jasaga Sakari Shri Pati Kantalaga Nakadika Brahma Dimunisa Arada Sharada Sahita Ahisa Yamakubera Digapala Jahante Abhiko Vidakahe Sake Kahante Maupakara Sugriva Inkina Rama Melaya Raja padadin Maro mantra bibishanaman Ankeshwara bhai sabadagajam Sahasra yojana paraban Ilyotahi Palajan Prabhu Mudrika Elimukamahi Jaladilangi Gaya Charjanai Uragama Kaj Jagat Ke Jete Sugama Anugat Marete Rama Duare Tumarakavare Otanagya Binu Pesar Sab Sukla He Tumhari Sharan Tumhara Chakaka Upodharana Apana Teja Samaro Ape Ino Loka Hankaten Kante Uttapasashan Katana He Ave Mahavira Jabanam Sunave Aseroga Hare Sabba Pira Chapataniranthara Matabira Sankatate Hanuman Churave Nakrama Bachana Dhana Jolave Sabba Pararam Tapasvi Raja Inake Kaja Sakala Tumasaja Ora Manoratha Joko Elave Sove Amita Jivana Palapave Charon Yuga Paratap Tumar He Parasiddha Jagata Ujiyar Sadhu Santa Ke Marakavare Asurdane Kandana Ramadulare Ashta Siddhi No Nidhi Ke Data Asavaradina Janaki Mata Kamarasayana Tumare Pasa Sadaro Raghupati Ke Dasa Tumare Bhajana Rama Ko Pave Janama Janama Ke Dukkha Visarave Antakala Raghubara Pura Jai Jahan Janma Hare Bhakta Kahai Lord Devata Chittana Darai Manumata Seyi Sarva Sukha Karai Sankata Kate Mite Sabba Pira Yosumere Mata Balabir Jai Hanuman Gosai Kripa Karo Gurudeva Kinai O Satabara Patta Kara Koi Shutta Hi Bandi Mahasukoi Joya Vare Hanuman Chalisa Joya Siddhi Saki Gaurisa Tulasidas Sadari Chel Ki Nata Hridaya Mahadev Pavanatanaya Sankataharana Mangalamurti Syaram Ramalakana Sita Sahita Hridaya Basar Surabhuta Syavara Ramachandra Pada Jai Sharanam Mangalamurti Marutanandan Sakala Mangala Mulanyakanda Mangalamurti Marutanandan Sakala Mangala Mulanyakanda Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri 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 Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Sita Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai 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 Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Jai Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram. Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Jai Jai Sita Ram, Sita Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai 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 Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai 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 Jai Ram. If we know anything about a path at all, if we know that there might be a way to live in this world in a good way, without fear and with an open heart, it's only because of the great beings that have gone before us. Out of their love, out of their kindness, they left some footprints for us to follow. So in the same way that they wish for us, in the same way that they wish for us, we wish that all beings everywhere, all of us, be safe, be happy, that all of us have good health and enough to eat. And may we all live in peace and at ease of heart with whatever comes to us in life. Chanting, chanting, chanting. Namaste. Take good care. All the best. Hopefully see you Saturday and Sunday. And then next week, I guess. Ram Ram.